This question has been on our minds for quite some time now, and that is why I keep on talking about stuff like this in my videos. If either of these children is real, we all know Meghan would miss the great opportunity to pose for a photo shoot, and she would have written so many books on how to give birth, how to raise a child, how to be a perfect parent, and she would have those kids out there modeling clothes, you know it. They could be making her a lot of money. So that's why I don't believe it. Now, I have checked at the time of Lilibet's supposed birth date. The only recorded birth of a Diana Mary Mountbatten Windsor was in a hospital in LA County, and since then, that recorded birth has disappeared. I have also seen some articles posted in California claiming that Child Protective Services made separate checks at their Santa Barbara address, and the report was that no children were living at the premises. That's the way this stuff is, though. One day you see it, and the next thing you know, it's gone. So it looks like they have been scrubbing the internet. Or, if surrogates were used, the legal court documents have been sealed and stuff magically disappears, legally. And as far as no children living there, well, there you have it. Either they are being raised in secrecy, or the truth is they don't exist. Those photos with the royal family all seem to be photoshopped. And maybe this is one of the reasons Meghan and Harry had to run away from the UK. God bless the late Queen. She knew all this was happening, and she refused to put up with all of it. She told them they had to go. There is more to this than they were just bored with royal duties. What we see now is the aftermath of all this stress on Harry's face, and Meghan's also looking pretty rough lately. There are way too many people involved in the whole process. So what has happened is a surrogate was most likely used, and as soon as the legal paperwork involving that matter was filed, the original records get sealed. Since there aren't a lot of Mountbatten Windsors living in LA, we can safely assume that the hospital record was the surrogate birth. Where she is, though, and who she lives with, well, that's a whole other matter. Any number of things really could have occurred. Another problem is the birth certificate for Archofficial was denied at a private school they were trying to send him to because it wasn't authentic. Honestly, it's not like all doctors are saints. Doctors are not above lying. Most doctors, I think, are good people and most are pretty honest. But just like in any other field, of course, there are going to be some bad apples. There absolutely are some shady doctors out there who will falsify records, they'll prescribe medications that are illegal, they will make up causes of death, etc. And they'll do it on wealthy people for high payouts. As I said, most doctors out there are not like this. Most doctors do have integrity, but there are some sketchy, greedy ones out there too. And I'm sure you can find them in California just like you can find them anywhere else. All the Harkles really required was an announcement and a phony birth certificate that they mistakenly thought the stupid public would accept without any questions. I mean, what possible explanation could there be for publicly posting a birth announcement that was required by law, and then only a few months later they revoked it? Either people were getting too close to the truth, or they figured out it was a false claim. There's just too much fake stuff out there when it comes to these invisible children. Why would the royal family not issue a notice these were not officially recognized by the family? I mean, the ever-changing artificial doll and Lilibet, and their ages don't even match their physical development. That means even if they did come from surrogate mothers, they never really lived with Meghan or Harry. Neither knows the most basic things about how young children grow. They have proven that time and time again. Now we just have to wait and see what kind of ridiculous story Meghan is going to make up about those two children, claiming they've been kidnapped or they disappeared or they died. But eventually they're going to have to figure out a way to write them out of the Sussex family fantasy so that they can avoid further investigation. I don't know exactly what she's going to come up with, but it's going to be something. And what about that doctor who supposedly delivered Invisibed and then just disappeared off the face of the earth when people started asking questions? She shut down her practice and everything. How hard can it really be to find a woman who must have some photo identity because she did have a name? I think she had a family, she had a home, she had patients. How could she have just disappeared like that? Well, thanks to a big payout from the Sussexes, I'm sure she's living in luxury somewhere. Considering the magnitude of the legal action of Netflix and others who have been tricked by Harry and Meghan, I'm sure that doctor got a pretty nice payout. I would love for some journalists, though, to follow the money trail. I think they could find that doctor eventually. So no wonder Harry always looks so depressed. I mean, it must be really stressful having to live a lie like that. And I'm sure he's always worried about having to remember what he said before. That's part of why he always contradicts himself. He's not very good at it. The truth is much easier to stick to. Maybe Harry should consider that sometime. As the saying goes, the truth shall set you free. But in this case, I don't know if that's true. Depending on what the truth is, Harry could end up behind bars. But anyway, their days are numbered. A royal source has claimed the Harkles are going down slowly and surely. Their income is getting less as time goes by and their toxicity grows. They are being slowly squeezed out of the monarchy a bit at a time. Clearly, the Bank of Daddy shut down a long time ago. And that Jubilee visit was a mistake. I mean, they just looked ridiculous, Meghan especially. She was hidden by that well-placed candle, and that was intentional. They were also kept safely out of sight at Trooping the Color, and so they left after they pretended to hold a birthday party for Elizabeth. Obviously, they were just pissed off that they didn't get more attention. Then Harry thought he was really going to bring his family to their knees with the publication of Spare, but the only thing that really happened was he and Meghan got kicked out of Frogmore. Harry also apparently tried to make stipulations around his attendance at his father's coronation, but of course they were not going to give in to his stupid demands. Instead, he just had to come alone. Then he couldn't see very well thanks to that glorious red feather, and he knew it was the last royal event he would ever be invited to until his father passed away. Harry's not allowed to rent any crown property, and he needs to make an appointment if he wants to see his father. The royal family has lately been making some quiet but solid moves, but it still seems like it's just a slap on the wrist, and they haven't really done anything to discipline the two of them, at least not as much as they deserve. The balance is certainly still on their side. They are being publicly humiliated as a result of their nasty behavior, but it looks like somehow corporations are still offering them money, and they are not being publicly held accountable for anything by the monarchy. I know they're not doing as well as they want to be doing, but still, I mean, apparently they're still getting like $70,000 per speech. How many people in the US or the UK wouldn't appreciate that? To get up there on stage and just say a bunch of nonsense and then get paid $70,000 for it sounds pretty good to me. Harry should not still be a counselor of state, though. I do not see how that's still going on. He should also be removed from the line of succession. Because just think, what if the king does become incapacitated? And what if William and the rest of the counselors of state are out of town or they're also incapacitated? Then Harry could act on behalf of the king? That would be a mistake. That would be horrible. Can you imagine everything that could go wrong if that situation were to happen? It's not about preserving Harry's feelings. He shouldn't be a counselor of state because it's not safe for the country. At the end of the day, I think most of us just want to see Harry and Meghan held accountable for their behavior. It's not right. We can't just say and do whatever we want to and then get off scot-free, so why should they be allowed to? After all the damage they've done, they should be publicly held accountable for it. I don't care if Harry is a royal and if Meghan married into the royal family. It's not right that they just get away with it. And you, do you agree with the views in my video? If yes, please like and share it with anyone else who would love it. And if not, please tell me why, and we can also talk about the Sussexes. Don't be afraid to click that subscribe button to get more updates from Kate Middleton and the Queen in the future. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye, and I'll be back to see you tomorrow.